Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is from the summary chapters of the Govardhana Leela. Lord Sri Krishna crushed the pride of Indra by prohibiting a sacrifice intended for him and initiating a substitute sacrifice in worship of Govardhana Hill. When Sri Krishna saw the cowherd men busily preparing for a sacrifice to Indra, Krishna inquired about it from their king, Nanda. Nanda explained that the rain given by Indra enables all living entities to maintain their lives, and therefore this sacrifice would be executed to satisfy Indra. But Krishna responded, "It is because of karma alone that living entities take their birth in a certain body and experience varieties of happiness and suffering in that body, and then give it up as the karma pertaining to it runs out. Thus it is karma alone that is our enemy, our friend, our guru, and our Lord. And Indra can do nothing to alter the happiness and distress of anyone, for everyone is tightly bound by his or her karmic reactions. The material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance bring about creation, maintenance, and destruction of this earth. The clouds give forth rain when they are impelled by the mode of passion, and the cowherders prosper by protecting the cows. Furthermore, the cowherders' proper residence is in the forest and on the hills. Therefore, my father, you should offer worship to the cows, brahmanas, and Govardhana Hill." After Krishna spoke, he arranged for the cowherder men to worship Govardhana Hill with the paraphernalia collected for the sacrifice to Indra. Krishna then assumed a huge, unprecedented transcendental form and devoured all the food and other offerings presented to Govardhan. As Krishna did this, he proclaimed to the cowherder community that although they had worshipped Indra for so long, he had never appeared in person, whereas Govardhan himself had now manifested before their very eyes and had eaten their offerings of foodstuffs. Therefore, they should all now offer obeisances to Govardhana Hill. Then Lord Krishna joined the cowherders in offering obeisances to his own newly assumed form. So, when Prabhupada comments, especially in Krishna book, you want to know what are the things we should take away. So a recurring theme in this Govardhana Leela is that Krishna does not want his devotees worshiping demigods. Prabhupada also mentions Krishna specifically wanted to agitate Indra. And Krishna wanted to show to his devotees they should simply engage in worshiping him. Then Prabhupada quotes that line because in the Bhagavad Gita, there are those 4 verses in chapter 7 where Krishna explains worshiping other gods. So the line is, Mayaiva vihitan hitan. The reason why devotees don't need to worship demigods is because devotees know the demigods are not independent in offering blessings. They can only offer blessings when Krishna in their heart sanctions it. So therefore, devotees know, well, ultimately, it's going to depend on Krishna's sanction. Devotees simply worship Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains, why do people worship demigods? He says, because their hearts are distorted by material desires. Devotees are not supposed to have material desires. So that's another reason. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, yes, the benedictions given by demigods are limited and temporary. Devotees are not interested in limited things. Devotees want unlimited things. And devotees don't want things that are temporary. Just like, say you, Dr. Zope, you're a doctor. So if somebody goes to Dr. Zope and she says, yes, I can cure you, but only for 1 week. Then after 1 week, you're going to get sick again. You're going to go, why I want to go to Dr. Zope? Right? You want, when you go to a doctor, you want, finish it up. What's the problem? If there's a cure, let's take care of it once and for all. Not that I keep coming back every other week to the doctor, right? So that he gets a nice bill. No, you want, all right, let's tackle it. So devotees are not interested in temporary benefits. They want eternal benefits. So if you want something unlimited, you have to go to the unlimited. Krishna's name, Ananta, everybody say. He's the unlimited. Not Indra, not the demigods. They're not unlimited. And devotees want eternal blessings, eternal benediction. Like Prabhupada says, go back home, back to Godhead. That's permanent liberation. The yogis and the jnanis, even if they merge, that itself is temporary. As the demigods, when they were praying to Krishna in the womb of Devaki, one of their prayers was, Aruya Kritrena Parang Padang Patanti Adha. That even people who are becoming one with the Absolute, Patanti, they will eventually fall. Because you're not going to find permanent liberation in the merging within Krishna. Permanent liberation is when you are fully engaged in Krishna's service, either here or in the spiritual world. Because that's what Krishna says in chapter 14 in Bhagavad Gita. Mang chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatit yaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Brahma bhuyaya means liberation. But to achieve this permanent liberation, bhakti yogena, vyabhicharena, non-stop, continuous, non-stop devotional service. You can do that here or continue when you go back to Godhead. So for a devotee, what we're doing here, no different. We're going to do it there. You are offering to Krishna. You sang the song. Yashoda, Radharani, Danish, they're cooking for Krishna, right? I was mentioning this last night in Kundan's house. When we later, we're going to sing Damodarashtaka, right, Supriya? So there's the description in the Damodar Leela. What's Yashoda doing on Diwali day? What is she doing? It's Diwali. What is Yashoda doing? Churning. Here's the Mother of God working. Not that the Mother of God is like, bring me limca. Do mani-pedi? No, the Mother of God is working. That's not actually work, it's loving devotional service, but from external point of view, she's working. So it's not that when I go back to Godhead, it's permanent vacation. No. We're serving Krishna, cooking for Krishna, singing for Krishna here. We're practicing and getting ready for the real service in, like Prabhupada said, go back to Krishna. But we're going to be doing service there. So some of us will be cooking, some of us will be singing, some of us will be doing so many things. Some of us will be cleaning the kitchen, because the kitchen gets dirty in Goloka Vrindavan too. Somebody has to clean up. Everything is there. So, for a devotee, liberation means constantly engaged in service. The meaning of the Maha Mantra, O Lord, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. Yes, Prabhu.
Questions come up in devotees' minds. They're saying that they're chanting and I surrender to you, but they don't want to serve. So this question comes to a lot of devotees' minds, and I was wondering about. I thought that maybe you could explain it in a manner which are not able to serve their services to Krishna in the temple, but that's not the only place you can serve. You can serve Krishna anywhere.
That is correct.
So that notion of serving only in temple is appropriate or is not appropriate?
Prabhupada writes in the first canto, one of his purports, what is the sign that somebody is actually chanting properly? The sign is they demonstrate a service attitude. So you can always tell who is really taking advantage of chanting and who is the real devotee, because they're always eager to serve Krishna, spiritual master, and the devotees. And yes, not just the temple, in the home, in all aspects, anywhere. We're not in LA Temple, we're not in Laguna Beach Temple, but we are here in a temple, Sri Jidam. Yep, here we go. So there's service here. After the program, I'm sure you would like everyone to help with the cleanup. It's a big problem in all the Namahat programs. Big problem. So yes, we will see, it'll be shown who are the real chanters, because they have that natural tendency to serve. You and I, when I first came, we're not going to mention any names, but you and I both agreed, we know somebody who has that service attitude. They serve in the temple, wherever they are, exemplary service attitude. So you know that person is really chanting. Because that's what Prabhupada says. It manifests in one demonstrates the service attitude. Okay? All right, we'll end here. We'll come back to more Govardhan. Gopika, are you ready to sing for us? All right, let's finish this, and then Supriya, you will sing Damodarastak. So this is the remaining chapter summaries. Lord Indra was overcome by anger when the residents of Vraja canceled his sacrifice. And so he tried to punish them by sending forth a devastating rainfall to Vrindavan. And Lord Sri Krishna protected Gokul by lifting Govardhan hill and for 7 days using it as an umbrella to ward off the rain clouds. Indra, angered at the disruption of the sacrifice meant for him, and falsely presuming himself to be the supreme controller, then said, "People often give up the pursuit of transcendental knowledge which is their very means of self-realization, and imagine that they can cross over the ocean of material existence by mundane fruitive sacrifices. Similarly, these cowherder men have become intoxicated by pride and have offended me by taking shelter of an ignorant, ordinary child known as Krishna. So here you see when somebody goes crazy. Indra has become completely crazy. And the very things he's criticizing the residents of Vrindavan, he himself is guilty of. And Krishna will point it out, that actually it is Indra who is intoxicated by pride, not the residents of Vrindavan. And here's Indra's biggest mistake. He thinks that this 7-year-old boy is ignorant and ordinary. Right there demonstrates how Indra is in complete illusion. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, avajananti mang mudha manushing tanum asritam. Fools, mudhas, deride me when I come as an ordinary human being. And that is the whole mystery of Krishna Leela. Because Krishna looked like an ordinary human being, but ask Putana, ask all the demons. Krishna may have looked like an ordinary human being, but he surely didn't behave like one. Krishna was not even a month old when Putana tried to kill. But who wound up getting killed? Putana. And demon after demon after demon made the same miscalculation, thinking that this Krishna was just an ordinary human being. Apparently, Indra is making the same mistake. Brahma. Why did Brahma steal the boys in calves? He wasn't sure if this was his Lord and Master. So he wanted to test Krishna. You don't go to your boss and test him. Are you really my boss? No, you don't play with fire. So similarly, he should not have tested Krishna. And that's why after that whole incident of stealing the boys and calves, Brahma was crying. His 4 heads crying. Because he realized he made a big mistake. Indra also will come to his senses after Krishna lifts Govardhan Hill for 7 days. He'll also realize, uh-oh, I made a mistake here. To remove this supposed pride of the residents of Braja, Indra sent the clouds known as Sangvartaka, whose function is to facilitate the destruction of the world. Indra sent them to harass the Brajavasis with downpours of rain and hail. The cowherder community was very disturbed by this and approached Krishna for shelter. So that's the symptom of a devotee. Here's another important lesson. Whenever there's any kind of trouble or danger, the mark of a devotee, immediately take shelter of Krishna. Either Krishna or a favorite of devotees, especially when there's danger, Lord Nrsimha. But that's the mark of a devotee. Immediately there's some danger. Just like, God forbid, knock on wood, say all of a sudden right now there would be an earthquake. What would we all do? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I was in an earthquake in Chile in 2010 at 4 o'clock in the morning. Knocked off my bed. You never heard such good chanting. I chanted like I never chanted before. I rode that earthquake, and that earthquake seemed like 12 years or more. I was chanting loudly, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And then, for the next few days, even there was one little sound, Hare Krishna, because your nerves are shut. Even if there's like a little, you know, how sometimes there's a little tremor. No, like the roof may make a little creak. Hare Krishna. Any little sound, you're like freaked out. So, devotee, whenever there's danger, immediately take shelter of Krishna. Okay, let's continue. Understanding that this trouble was the work of Indra, Krishna decided to smash to pieces Indra's false prestige, and thus he lifted Govardhan Hill with one hand. Which hand? Left. He then invited the entire cowherd community to take shelter under the dry space beneath the hill. For 7 successive days, he held up Govardhan Hill until Indra finally understood Krishna's mystic power and ordered the clouds to withdraw. When the cowherd villagers emerged from beneath the hill, Krishna put Govardhan Hill back in its proper place. Here is God. He can lift. How old is Krishna at this time? 7 years old. What 7-year-old boy do you know who can lift a mountain? You've seen Govardhan. It's big, isn't it? Right? Very big. So, to lift the hill and hold it for 7 days, and it's not that Krishna was like struggling. Oh, no, effortlessly. Effortlessly he's holding up. It's like, here's my pill box. It doesn't take any strength to hold this up. So Krishna is holding Govardhan Hill without any exertion. The cowherders were in ecstasy, showing loving symptoms such as flowing tears and bodily hairs standing on end. They embraced Krishna and offered him benedictions according to their respective positions, while the demigods in heaven rained down flowers and sang the Lord's praises. So we'll go to the final chapter. Because there are 4 chapters in this Govardhan Leela. Ashamed of having attacked Vrindavan with a violent storm, Indra secretly came before Lord Krishna. In Krishna book, Prabhupada uses the word stealthily. In other words, he did it didn't want anybody to see, very stealthily. Came before Krishna, offered obeisances, and praised Krishna. Indra stated that although Sri Krishna is never caught in the current of material illusion, which is born of ignorance, Krishna nevertheless accepts a human-like body and performs various activities to establish religious principles and chastise the wicked. By this means, he crushes the false prestige of those who presume themselves great controllers. Indra went on to declare that Krishna is the Father, Guru, and Lord of all living entities, and that Krishna, in the form of time, is the agent of everyone's punishment. Satisfied with Indra's prayers, Krishna told Indra that he had stopped the Indra Yajna so that Indra, puffed up as he was with false prestige, would remember the Lord. Persons intoxicated by material opulence never see Krishna standing before them with the rod of punishment in his hand. So this is another significant thing. What does Lord Chaitanya order us to always have around our neck? Trinadapi, right. Lord Chaitanya instructs us, always be meek and humble, always. So the devotee always knows this. Krishna is saying, persons intoxicated, that's what happens when you become too materially opulent. You become arrogant. You become too much involved with false prestige. Same way with those, when we sing the Damodarastakam prayers. Why did Narada curse the two demigod sons of Kuvera? They also had become puffed up. They had gotten the association of Lord Shiva, and by that, and after all, they're the sons of Kuvera, so they're very, very opulent. Kuvera is the treasurer of the devatas, so I'm sure Kuvera is not a poor man. And what to speak of the sons? But they became intoxicated both by pride and by actual intoxication. So that's why Narada cursed them. When Narada saw them, he said, this is not proper for these two sons of Kuvera. They should not be like this. That is why Narada cursed them. Therefore, if Lord Krishna desires the actual good fortune of some person, he brings them down from one's position of opulence. And for the past year, I have been praying to Krishna to please do that. Yes. You know who I'm talking about. Bring him down from one's position of opulence. Lord Krishna ordered Indra to return to his proper position in heaven and to serve there without egotism. Indra, along with the Surabhi cow, then performed a bathing ceremony for Krishna using the water of the heavenly Ganges and the milk of Mother Surabhi. Indra and the Surabhi cow took this opportunity to bestow upon Krishna what name? What's that? Govinda. Everybody say. And the demigods showered flowers and recited various prayers. Everybody chant the Maha Mantra, please.